We all suffer from insecurity, a bit of jealousy, fear of failure, of not getting work. And I'm going to talk about that in this video because I'm still at that early enough stage that I haven't become so successful that it's easy for me to say, stay true to yourself, and your clients who appreciate your work will find you. Yeah, that's true in the long run, but it doesn't stop the fear and insecurity from happening. So if you are like me, I wouldn't say just starting out, but even at any point in your, be it photography, videography, or any other career for that matter, it doesn't matter what it is, you might be interested in hearing what I have to discuss today. So, what it is firstly, I just didn't feel like going and setting up the whole like studio for podcasting, wada. So I just stuck my phone on a tripod, stuck a light at a small Rembrandt angle there, and I'm gonna go for it. So forgive the hardy-das that might scream in the background, but I'm just not in the mood to go down to the soundproof room or whatever you now. So it's a better treated room, you know what I mean? But the discussion, and I'm very adamant about making this video now when this is all starting, is to do with our insecurities, our fears, our inherent jealousy when entering an industry, when trying to start a business, when trying to get yourself out there. But at the same time, trying to remain authentic to how you do what you do. And it's difficult. Anyone who tells you it's not difficult is lying. I'm sorry, but you know what, maybe they're not lying. I'm really happy for them. I wish I could be like them, but I'm not. And I assume that there's a lot of people out there who aren't. So that's this video's for you. I recently have met someone, and honestly, it's just somehow happened. Coincidence, call it. If you're religious, call it an act of God. If you're spiritual, call it what you would spiritually call a crossing of paths that somehow, I don't know, is coincidental and was meant to happen at the right time. I'm none of those things, so I can't attribute it to anything, but the point is it happened, and I can't deny, and it happens, it's been happening repeatedly over the last few years, and I can't deny that these things happen. I don't care why, but they have. And I've met someone at Camera Club named Sandy, who I hope doesn't mind being name dropped at this point, and then I'll probably get disapproved by her, but anyway. And we met each other at the right time. Sandy is embarking on her boudoir photography journey that, you know, I started doing almost 2 years ago and then let go of for a while. But the thing about Sandy's work is when I looked at it, I felt like it's me, but in a different person. Her approach to her work, the way she makes her work look, and then after meeting and chatting to her, her understanding of how this thing here for me works has just been a revelation. And sometimes you find those people that you just instantly connect with and understand you, and you understand each other, and you can just see there's something there. And so we've decided that we're going to work together because I would like to get back into some of the boudoir work, but not as focused as I was. I still have the surf, the portraiture, the underwater portraiture that is my primary thing, plus the documentary work. I don't want to not have time to do NPO and voluntary work. So we're working out a way. We're figuring out how we're going to do this. And don't think for a second that there isn't some insecurity with it. Why I say that is, I'm going to pick on something I heard recently, and it happens in industry. I heard people talking about other photographers poaching clients. I've heard about people hiding their secret spots and venues where they shoot. And I just want to say, I think it's a very outdated way of thinking. It's like when you're in a working environment and you don't mentor or don't transfer information, and you justify it somehow, but the truth is it's because you feel vulnerable. You feel vulnerable that if you share information or if you give it over to the younger person, the other person, your competition, you are going to become redundant. Look, it might happen. That's the truth, but it was probably going to happen anyway, or some AI robot was going to take your job. It doesn't matter. But that's not to say that I'm not afraid of that happening. I am, but I believe in the person who I'm working with's ethics, and I can see that we approach the world with a view that's very similar. So I think about I reverse the situation, and honestly, if I were in her position, and I know what I would do or wouldn't do. I know that I would be ethical and honor what I'm doing. And Sandy, this is by no means a way to make this statement public. I'm trying to teach people what I hope will help. So, I am a bit fearful because I had started getting clients and I let it slip for a while, but now I'm going to share those places where I've shot, my approaches, how I interact with people, and basically potential clients going forward with Sandy. But she's focusing purely on boudoir. And I think us working together can provide a unique offering to people that not only is no one else doing, but will suit the two of us. Our styles are the same, very similar at least, emotional, cinematic, connected. The reasons we shoot and how we shoot are very similar. But the truth of the matter is, one, in the boudoir world, there's a very, very big emphasis on comfort. That is just, look, I do that in my portraiture as well. It can be very intimate and it can release a lot of vulnerability. Now step that up in boudoir. It's typically mostly female subjects that you work with, and not everyone wants to work with a male photographer, and I understand that. I completely get that. So this is not just an effort to get more business because she's a female photographer, but the truth of the matter is, I'm sure a lot of people will be more comfortable with her than photographing with me. And I've had people photograph with me, and that's great. Those people who are comfortable with a male photographer being involved in the shoot or doing the shoot, that's fine. I want to focus more on the story building, the shoot building, together with Sandy, and where I get the opportunity to shoot with her, I will, for sure. But where not, and where the client's comfort dictates only a female photographer, 100% fine, because it's the client's comfort that produces meaningful images, connected images, and this feeling of wanting to do it again. It's pointless leaving a shoot uncomfortable and wishing you'd never done it. So I'm excited. It's early days. It's super early days, and that's why I'm doing this now. We literally talked this week. So I'm excited, but at the same time, I can't help but be a little bit intimidated. I can't help but be a little bit wary that, you know what, there's a good chance Sandy's going to get business from the work that I put in. Obviously, we'll have our agreements on how that's going to work, but it's still a little bit of vulnerability from me. Like I've heard photographers say that they don't share clients, people poach each other's clients. Listen, it's not poaching. If someone wants to shoot with somebody else because they prefer how they interact to work, that's going to happen. I don't find that to be poaching. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because of whatever reason. But also like locations. Share locations. Why not? If you found a spot that works well, and like I'm trying to share all the knowledge I've gained so far in this profession, someone else is probably going to find it at some point anyway. And you're probably going to benefit more from collaborating and working together and supporting each other than trying to hide things from each other, which is, again, I think a very outdated way of thinking. Now, sorry if I'm pissing people off by saying that, but honestly, it's the truth. And I feel like my reluctance and my fear would be far less if the world, or the majority of industries, didn't approach it in that way. If we were all a little bit more open to saying, listen, let's work together, let's support each other, let's share enough that we all get enough business, make enough art to pay our bills, to survive, and to carry on. We don't need to become multi-billionaires, but we don't need to hide everything from each other either. And if we could have just had a society that did that more, and I know I'm probably being very unrealistic, but if we had a society that was more that way inclined, I really feel like, firstly, I wouldn't have these feelings that I actually don't wish I feel this way. But I'd be lying if I didn't admit that I did feel a bit intimidated, feel a bit insecure. But I know and I trust that I found the kind of person who understands me, understands how I think, and we think very similarly. So I'm not concerned about it at all. But to say I'm not concerned doesn't mean that there isn't fear. Okay, so wait, that's a lie. I am concerned about it. I guess I was wrong in saying that. I'm concerned about it, but I'm being open and honest about it. And I hope we can do more of this. So there's more collaborative work that happens. There's more supporting each other that happens. And instead of building individual businesses, we build support communities. Yeah, maybe I'm living in an idealistic dream world and, I'm just being stupid, but that's okay. We'll give it a go and see what happens. But the gist of it is, if you are out there intimidated, fearful, insecure about your business and competition and all of those things that come with starting over, or even just continuing, it is scary, don't get me wrong. It is terrifying. And anybody who says it's not terrifying that hasn't already made it is probably lying. Once again, I wish I could be like you, but I'm not. And I hope that sharing this helps somebody somewhere out there just to feel a little bit less alone, and encourage people to be less like society, I would say, is and used to be. Let's, instead of trying to stop mentorship from happening, instead of stopping each other from growing, help each other grow and be fair about sharing it. I think it can work. But anyway, call me an idealist in that case. Call me an idealist in that case, and prove me wrong. For now, I'm excited. I am going to go chat with Sandy, and we are building something really, really amazing together, I think. And I have every confidence that it's going to be so cool. We're going to be able to do work and produce work together that I think very few people are. But most importantly, I think we are going to be able to support each other through this, let's use the word, journey. But we're going to support each other through this thing that we're doing. And I think that's the biggest part. And the biggest thing for me is having somebody who supports me and I can support back, because that's what keeps me going. It's been the basis of all the mentorship work I've done in the past with engineering and so on. And what I'm getting out of this, apart from whatever financial agreements we have, what I'm getting out of doing this from the get-go is having that commitment to her business, our work together, and sort of being anchored to do this. And because of that, having that community support that I'm talking about. So a long one, but I've been wanting to do more long form videos, and this is one of them. So much like Sean Tucker's videos, not for everyone, probably kind of boring for some people, but like Sean Tucker's videos, people like me will appreciate it because it's the philosophy and the realness behind the settings and the camera skills and the editing and blah, blah, blah. So I hope this helps, and please reach out. I'd love to engage more with people. Until then, keep an eye out for Sandy and my work. I think it's going to be like super, super fun. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea. I understand. Boudoir, taboo for some people. I get it. But I think that's part of why I started doing it and why she is doing it. I started going down that road because it's taboo, and because in certain communities it's more taboo than others. And I wanted to open the box to people, and I have already found that there are people out there that just don't want to publicly say they want to do these things, but they do. I mean, we've done a few. And I wish and I hope that by doing this, it reaches more and more people who might have seen this as taboo. It's not taboo. We're human. It's our bodies. Stop acting like everyone on this planet doesn't at some level feel something about connection with other people on that level, or want to look at themselves in that way and feel empowered. I cannot believe that people don't want to do that. Sure, it takes courage. It means showing your vulnerability to the world. But I hope we build a world where we are more open to being vulnerable and showing our vulnerability and making it the accepted norm, that instead of being afraid of it, we help each other, support each other in it, because we're all feeling it anyway. So yeah, I started more with like an Indian, Eastern inspired boudoir, and then it mixed up with Western themed stuff. But the point is, now we're going to throw Sandy in, and we're both going to do this, and I think it's going to be really cool. And if it's something you're interested in, please give us a shout. Everything that we do will be done under a confidentiality agreement from the get-go. Anything we talk about, anything that we capture is all confidential. Everything that you do not want displayed publicly is kept between you and I, or you, Sandy, and I, and that's completely the bare minimum. Remember, it is a fun thing to do, but it is a very emotional thing and a very I don't know how else to explain it. It's not a surface value kind of thing to do, and we both understand that, and I think that's why our approaches and the way we see it and the way we go about it is so similar. It takes a lot of connection, a lot of working with other humans, and not on a fast and hyped up basis. It's on a very intimate and delicate basis. We're working with human emotion, we're working with people's feelings, and it has to be done in a certain way, which I believe that Sandy and I are pretty good at doing. And if you want to see what that's all about, reach out. We don't have to do a shoot, we can just talk and see where it goes from there. Hope this helps, and I hope to do this again soon.